Got a little van tour going on here, so let's get to it. I'll show you the van. Exterior here, big old Sprinter van. Technically it's Dodge, all the parts are Mercedes though. I don't know why they rebranded it that way, but you can see them out here at the ocean. Street's a little busy, so sorry for the noise. First thing we'll check out is the cab. Not super impressive. Basically, the whole moral of the game here, I'll show you the front and the side quick too. Whole moral of the game here is basically I wanted it to be a stealth Sprinter, so you can see it's plenty ugly. Reason being, more people leave you alone. They're not so worried about if you're in here or not. Not so many windows, things like that. So it just looks like an old work van when it sits around, which is why the interior here is also so ugly. I even got, well, I just bought those eggs, but I got like reflective vests and all sorts of stuff. But basically, a little insulation in the doors. I'm going to eventually fix that up, but it helps with the vibration. It's a big metal van, so it's really loud, but pretty standard. I mean, nothing too crazy going on in here. Lots of this stuff works. This guy does not, the exterior light, but everything else works in here. Needs a new stereo replacement and the speakers are gone, but that'll happen one of these days. This is just the interior. It's pretty basic. Got a lot of like tools and stuff back here. An old Home Depot bucket that I'm not using for anything, but it is beautiful. Interior, we got this big old grill on the front. If you hit a deer in these vans, the engine you can see is so close to the front of the vehicle that a lot of people have trouble with them with these T1N. So I built that monster so that if I ever hit a deer, it doesn't matter. Like I said, little bit rusty, a little bit nasty, but that's kind of what keeps people away from the van. Doesn't look like anybody's in here, which is great. To finish the exterior, this is the rear of the van. All this stuff will get fixed up eventually, but honestly, it's doing me some good right now. I'll just show you the roof quick. So if you come up to the roof, got 400 watts of solar up here, 4 panels, and my max air fan, but that all goes right down into the van, and I'll show you all that stuff here in a minute. Here's the cool stuff, the stuff you've been waiting for. First thing entering the van, just a little 12-volt fridge, holds all my goodies. So eventually be on sliders, it's just not yet, so it's just on a little platform, but honestly it's fine, I just pull it in and out. Enough space to get up and in the van, whatnot, my towel for showering. This is a heat vent that goes to the diesel heater. I'll show you that in a minute. I got this little separating door. Really good for winterization of the van. It stays warm back here, everything's insulated. Also keeps a lot of the sunlight out. Anybody who's done some van stuff knows that these windows up here basically will either let all your heat out or let so much sun in that it stays too hot. Also got a bathroom going on here. This is all waterproofed basically. This eventually will have a curtain on it. It's just a piece of steel, but does not have a curtain quite yet. I don't really use this that often. I have a shower that I use, so. But it's got a push button, so you can let the water out. Click it if you want to keep the water in, or if you don't want to let cold air in during the winter, things like that. Just a little composting toilet. I'm not going to open this because it's really nasty on the inside, but you know what a toilet looks like. Basically, urine goes out the bottom of the van. Don't need that. There's a bucket in the back. I'll show you the bucket at least. Down here is how you empty your composting toilet. There's a little clip. Pop it open. Composting toilet there. There's also a ventilation fan, and that's your fan adjustment speed so you don't smell anything in the van. Then when it's time, you just take it out, chuck it wherever it needs to go. Got a beautiful little painting from Nepal. I'll move on to the kitchen here. This is just a little penny tiled sink. It's an old dish tub that I found somewhere that I really loved. I got a pump faucet here, an old Pabst Blue Ribbon. I think it was like, used to hold beers in it, which is kind of funny. But I just thought it looked unique and really cool, so I tiled this with pennies on the inside. It's a little pump that hangs out down here. You basically put your foot on it, press, and water comes out. It's not 12 volt, which is what a lot of people really like, is 12 volt stuff, but it does save power, and also most importantly it saves water. I don't waste any water. That all just goes down here into this 5-gallon drum. I just take that thing, dump it out when it's time, and put it back. I don't put anything in there that isn't compostable, so I mean it's just like food scraps and stuff like that, so I just dump it out. But down here I store just a bunch of random stuff. It's like my bread shelf up there. Some small cleaning supplies, onions, and you know what's going on here. Basically just a bunch of dry random goods. So I just hold all my stuff down here. Probably could use a little more organization, but I don't. It's not something that bugs me really. These guys here, for when I'm driving, I just flip these like this so that when things go flying around, these don't open. I also have them on the back here when we get there. So it just holds the cupboards shut. This one as well. This one just holds both of them shut. But basically inside here, I got spices and some more just dry storage stuff, all of my pantry items, like things that I use in the bathroom, whatnot. It all kind of happens right here. Is where the magic happens. Got some hanging containers, which I really like the look of, and honestly, the much needed space. You can see there's not much room in here. Whoa, dropped my phone. And there's also not much room down here. So, I mean, having these couple of extra spaces up here have really been help, and I think it looks cool. So I got my coffee, some noodles, rice, and they all just hang up there. Plug here in the kitchen, so we got full power, AC power, just like you would in your house. This just kind of holds some of my kitchen items, cutting board. Eventually this countertop, all the wood in here is going to get stained and finished, but honestly I think it looks so cool that I just left it alone. So I'm debating if I'm going to stain and finish it. At least the countertop's going to get finished. You can see it's got some like gaps. It's just kind of set up in here. But I'm going to finish it very soon, hopefully. So I just got to resand it, stain it all. This has got to get epoxied, things like that. But for now it does a great job. We'll move over here to the second part of the kitchen. I got an oven. I store my pots and pans in there. Propane, there's a propane tank underneath here that's replaceable. When it has a little dial meter on it, tells you when it's out of propane. But it lasts quite some time, so I haven't had any trouble. You can hang some items up here. I use my knives, all sorts of stuff. You get the idea. It's just a kitchen. This I really love. I found this old truck mirror. I was having a hard time finding a mirror that I thought would be cool for the van. But you can see I got this old truck mirror. This is where I put in my contacts, brush my teeth, shave, all that cool stuff. It's really great. Yeah. Over here is just this little weird cubby thing that I built out of scrap wood. I think it just looks cool. You can see it's all like random scraps. But it looks kind of neat. It's where I put most of like my oils and things like that. So there's a whole bunch of random stuff in there. Soy sauce, vinegar, all sorts of random stuff. But I know where it is, and that's what's important, right? Little random storage pocket down here. As you can see, we go right underneath the bed. A lot of people build a wall here. I chose not to, just for accessibility. I know some people think it looks better with a wall, but I figured I'd always put up a curtain if I really cared that much. But basically, I got like a little hamper is where I keep my laundry. Yeah, random items, extinguisher, water tank and stuff. I'll open up the back here in a minute. We can see all the good stuff from there, but all my stuff. Little garbage can that I got strapped in here. Underneath here is, again, just storage. It's a little bit ugly. I plan on putting like a curtain rod on the outside of this, and then you can cover it up. But I like having access to all this stuff. I don't like when it gets blocked. So under here, I keep like some random dry storage stuff. The kitty litters for my composting toilet. I don't have a cat in here, but it works. I'm a PFD. I'm a kayaking guide, so I got a nice PFD storage here. But this is mostly just shoes and some random tools. Most importantly, this guy here is the diesel heater. This is what heats the van. It's connected to that guy right there. It's a thermostat on the wall, so you can see, it reflects kind of weird, but you can see what I'm talking about. You just turn it on. I'm not going to turn it on now because it's nice and warm here. But you can turn it on, set the thermostat. This thing basically uses diesel from the tank underneath the van. There's like 35 gallons of diesel in the tank or something. I've ran this thing for like 2 months straight without having to refill the diesel, so it's really awesome. And then those vents, this top one is the one we saw down there, and this one goes out underneath the bed where the water tank is so that the water doesn't freeze, so you can winterize. You could use this for snowboarding or camping or whatever you wanted to, really. But it's winterized, which is great. Then that's kind of cool. This is just a random storage tub that I just keep junk in because I don't really use this couch that often. If I do use it, I only sit down there. But one thing about it is it's pull out. You can see this is separated. I'm not going to pull it out because I'd have to restrap this thing back in. But basically, you just pull on it. It slides all the way out. This back cushion comes down, and it turns into a second bed that's right here. So if you ever had somebody over that wanted to stay at your van or whatever, this is really good for that. I use this backspace as kind of like a shelf. I just keep random items up here that I access a lot. There's a couple hooks and stuff like that. This is their main power switch. It shuts down all the power to the van if you were to have a problem for whatever reason. Yeah, I mean, just some random goodies here. Nothing too crazy. Over here, we got a little lamp. This is the only light that I have in the van. There's some spare lights that sit on the ceiling right here. You can always turn these on if you really want the extra power, but these are not connected to the solar power. These are on a battery, so that if I ever run out of solar, I still have light. But this is plenty of light for being in here, and I really enjoy it. So I kind of just left it the way it was. I really like the way it looks. Got my little knife just in case anyone wants to come in the van while I'm sleeping. Nobody wants that. Little water bottle, holder situation over here. Is like a small gap here, so I just put my water bottle in there for nighttime. But got like almost a full-size double bed in here. It's not quite as long lengthwise this way as a full-size. It's like 5.5 feet or something. So I kind of sleep a little bit diagonal here, but there's plenty of space for 2 people, things like that. It is big enough. During the day, I store my computer back here. At nighttime, I pull it out, put it up, and watch TV and things like that. But I got my computer in there. I stuff my blanket under here just for some extra space. Up in here, I just keep all my clothes, some other random items, wrestling shoes, hats, stuff like that. But just got all my clothes that are in here. Same thing, these drop down and lock so that when you're driving, if your clothes roll around, it doesn't like come out. I haven't had any problems with those. This is more like warm clothing. But yeah, that's the inside of the van for right now. I don't think I'm missing anything. It's got like this vinyl stuff on the floor. Looks kind of like tile, but it's much easier to clean. Got a little rug here, so when you're walking in, you can see it's got a whole bunch of dirt in it. It's serving its purpose so that I don't track it all over the van. Other than that, yeah, that is the interior. And I'll pop the back open right now. We can take a look at that. Pop the back of the van open here. These are just some makeshift curtains for now because it gets really hot here during the day, so I threw a blanket over the curtain to try to keep some heat out. But a little messy back here because I do live in here, but you'll get the idea. It's got some paneled, just like the pallet wood that's up there, all paneled like that. Those are going to get stained. This is all kind of ugly right now. It's going to get anti-rust, like sanded down and stuff, and then I'm going to repaint these doors, which will look a lot better. But that's coming soon. We do have 50 gallons of water, which is a lot more than most people carry, but I wanted to be able to be off grid for a really long time if I felt like it. So between the solar, the fridge for food, and this thing, I mean, I can be off grid for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it doesn't matter. This is all just my camping storage up here and some tool storage. You know it goes on when you live in a van, but more importantly, here's my solar setup that's in here. It's hard to see right now, but I'll explain it a little bit. This is the back vent that goes underneath the bed for the heat, so that way this water doesn't freeze. The water tank is inside the van. A lot of people put them under the van. I put mine inside, so winter camping's not a big deal. It doesn't freeze your water, as long as your heat's on at least. From there, I got a DC to DC charger right there. You can see that. Basically what that does, it charges this big battery that's here when the van is running. So if you're on road trips and stuff, you can turn that thing on. Or days where you don't have much solar power, you can just run the van and the engine works as a generator basically, which is awesome. 200 amp hours of battery life here, all from the same company, Renogy. That's where I got all this stuff. So big Renogy battery. I thought I was going to need more battery, so I planned on buying another, but honestly, after living in it for years now, I mean, I haven't needed anything else. It's really been great. There's been maybe a couple winter days where I run out of battery, but other than that, I don't have to worry, and then I just use that DC thing, and it's fine. So 2,000 watts of power for your AC. So basically, if you're not using 12 volt or DC power, it goes through this guy. Turns into the same power you have in your house. So all the outlets are run off this thing. That's just a little meter that tells you how your solar power is doing. And a lot of people like to clean this stuff up in here where all those cords are. But I left them exposed just because if something goes wrong, I want to have access without having to take the whole van apart. And it's come in handy a few times, so yeah, that's what we got going on in here other than just my personal tools and stuff. It's just a big space where you can store a bunch of stuff. I even got like a big gate that goes in here, so if I have to transport wood or a bicycle or anything like that, I can just do it right on this thing because there's not a ton of room to carry things around in here. So, but yeah, man, that's the van. Check it out. Hope you enjoyed it. Still a work in progress. Oh, ceiling, I might have forgot. It's beautiful, looks great. I got my Max Air fan right up in here, so it just ventilates, especially when I'm cooking. It's really good to draw the smoke up out of the van, things like that. But other than that, that's the van. Let me know if you have any questions about it. Throw them in the comments, something like that. Super beautiful, and I love it. Oh, because I can go to places like this and just hang out. I'm here for 4 months just doing nothing. It's great.